Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and this evening we're going to have a look at the latest GFS ensembles, and then have a look at the weather warnings, live radar, and then we'll have a look at the Atlantic hurricane potential. Now do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you do like and subscribe, and do remember to follow me on Twitter as well, link is in the description. So the last day or so we've had some very windy and rainy scenes across most of the UK, with this low pressure system sitting over the top of the UK, spiralling around rounds of heavy rain and strong winds. Now the heaviest rain has been focused today over northern England, sort of Midlands area, southern Scotland as well. Elsewhere, we just had rain bands spiraling around. It's just meant it's been quite a grim, damp, and windy day. It's going to clear overnight tonight, but we've still got a few more hours of rain to come. Now the low will eventually clear, and we'll get a cooler airflow coming in from the north, maybe a bit of snow in Scotland potentially, and then a ridge of high pressure starts building over the top of the country to settle it down a little bit Saturday to Sunday, for another low comes in Sunday afternoon into evening with the weather fronts, and we could be seeing another deluge with that. Beyond that, high pressure does start to build in. We still have low pressure to our east, so we still could get a few showers with that, but generally high pressure does build in for day 10. And if we do have a look at the upper airs, you can see it's not very warm, but it's not cold either. And by sort of 276, 288 hours, so in about 10 days, or 10 to 12 days time, this latest GFS starts pulling some quite warm air in from the east. Now, it's not really warm. It's not going to give us 25 or 30 degrees, but it could get us into the 20s. And with this little cut-off low down into the Bay of Biscay, we could be seeing some thunderstorms developing in the south. It is a long way off, but we've seen this consistent signal of high pressure to our north, easterly winds, and this little cut-off low potentially developing further southwards. Now this GFS run does have quite warm air. Others runs don't have quite as warm air, but generally this GFS is showing very warm conditions for quite the long term. Really, we do see high pressure still well in control towards 384 hours. If we now have a look at the GFS ensembles, this is the 6Z run, so the run before that latest GFS, because the 12Z hasn't completely come out. And you can see over the next sort of 4 or 5 days, we're staying well below average, maybe 5 degrees below average for temperatures, feeling quite cool. But as we head towards the end of June, to the last few days of May, you can see temperatures do start to rise again. We do have some ensemble members going to around 5 or 10 degrees at 850 HPA, which could give temperatures of around 20 or so degrees, maybe a little bit warmer if we do see sunshine in it, and if it builds across many days. Other ensemble members still going cool or cold, but looking at the precipitation signal, it definitely does look like high pressure is quite in control. Now I'm assuming most of these rain spikes are from light showers coming off a little bit of an easterly wind, or that cut-off low developing on some of the ensembles closer to the south. Now with that, even though it would give us the chance of a few showers, it generally still would be quite warm because it will be hit and miss rain, hopefully, if that does come off, that is. And even with the cooler ensemble members, with the higher pressure domination, it would mean it's likely to be quite clear. And that means even though the temperatures, upper airs might be still cool, towards the surface, temperatures still can get relatively high, into the high teens, feeling relatively pleasant. So even though the temperatures 850 HPA don't look too stunning, it still can be quite warm, even if we do eventually come up with one of these cooler ensemble members. If we do have a look at the 2 meter temperatures, you can see over the next sort of 5 days, highs around 14, 15 degrees, but in sort of a week or so time, the next week to 10 days, and all the way to the end of the ensemble run, you can see many of the ensemble members are getting up to 20 degrees. The average is getting around to 17, 18, maybe even 19 degrees, and even some higher temperatures, potentially over 25 degrees with some of the ensemble members. Now that isn't out of the question for early June. 25 degrees is quite easy to do in June with the strength of the sun. We just need some warmer air from the south, and it's looking like there is the potential to see some very warm conditions. It definitely does look like it's going to be settling down. So if we don't, as I said, even if we don't see the very warm upper air temperatures that could give us 25 degrees plus, it definitely does look like it'll be drier, finer, and more pleasant. If we now have a look at the latest wind warning, You can see the wind warnings for most of the country have now disappeared. For Wales, southwestern parts, there now has been a new yellow warning issued. It was issued earlier today and will expire at 9 p.m. tonight, so in a few hours' time, for a yellow warning for eastern England and southern England as well. Now, it's the same description as the last wind warning, but it's just been updated to the southeast as the wind has carried on and strengthened a bit in there. But it is going to expire in the next few hours, so it should gradually subside overnight with the ridge of high pressure building in. If we do have a look at the latest radar, you can see where the low pressure is centred right now over towards Lincolnshire, and you can see the spiral of heavy rain going around it. The heaviest rain currently in the North Midlands and Northern England, coming into East Anglia. Around that spiral, we can see some quite heavy pulses of rain. Further westwards, there's still moisture being pumped into Wales and southwestern parts, which is giving this heavier pulses of rain, and it will gradually clear over the next few hours. Further northwards, still some showers and heavier rain around, and there's some snow over the hills as well, and it looks like some more persistent rain moving in sort of to Aberdeenshire. If we do run it back, we can see the general movement of the rain bands, and you can see where the centre of the low is, spiralling around the centre, and eventually this should clear over the next sort of 5 or 6 hours. If we do run through the future, again, it's not too accurate on the Weather Channel, but it does give you the general position of the rain bands. You can see still heavy rains continuing overnight tonight, but eventually it should start to clear eastwards as we head sort of beyond midnight, and you can start to see the rain start to fragment as we head into the early hours. So by tomorrow morning, many areas will be a lot drier. There could still be some rain around, but again, hopefully most of it will have cleared and the winds would at least have subsided. If we now finally have a look at the National Hurricane Centre, in yesterday's video we had a look at this disturbance out in the Atlantic towards sort of Bermuda area. It's still not developed into a cyclone yet, or a tropical storm, or depression, or whatever. It's got a 90% chance in the next 48 hours and in the next 5 days, so it's very likely we're going to be seeing a tropical depression with this. Another area of interest has in fact cropped up, and it's sort of area of thunderstorms coming in off the coast of sort of Texas and Louisiana in the Gulf, and it's got some strong winds towards the centre of the low, some thunderstorms within it, and there is the chance that it does develop in the next couple of days into a tropical depression or tropical storm. No stronger than that, and the main risk will be the heavy rain and flooding because of the very saturated soils in Texas and Louisiana. So there could be some flooding potentially with that, even if it doesn't get up to a particularly strong storm status. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.